Welcome into CHGO Bets Daily, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Steven, you all right? Looked like you had a heart attack when the show started.
You came in really loud on my headset, that's all.
Oh, boy. That was my worry.
You did come in pretty loud.
Yeah.
I'll tone it down, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited for college football bets. I'm Sean Anderson on this remote version of CHGO Bets Daily. I'm Sean Anderson. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. And the man in the Fighting Illini hoodie is Cody Delmendo. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. We got 5 people watching already. Howdy Shane in the chat. Appreciate him. He's a diehard. If you want to become a CHGO diehard, make sure you check out allchgo.com. We got some fantastic stuff for, I think it was culture, community, and content, as our guy Kevin Kaduk wrote it out on allchgo.com. So we're taking care of you. We got your 3 C's taking care of you.
And we're giving you money.
And we're giving you money. 66% last week on college football in week 11. I was real happy at 14-7. And then I made some foolish bets in the NFL, but that's a different show. Cody, how you doing? And what's your bank at?
I didn't figure up what I made after last night, but
come on.
Yesterday, I went into yesterday with $495 in my bank, and I had a good night. So I have to say that I am well over 500. And I've already won bets today because I was slamming some teenagers dribbling basketballs at 10:30 this morning.
You betting Furman? What's going on?
I bet Old Dominion against Furman today, and I wish I'd bet the money line because they're about to win outright.
Oh,
7.5-point dogs against Furman. Last I checked, they were winning. And I have who else? I had Virginia Tech today. They beat Penn State, and another game that I can't remember. They all just kind of get wobbled up in my head, but yeah, fun stuff.
Corey wants to jump in and tell you go blue. By the way, our guy Corey from CHGO Cubs, and Jack's in the chat saying what's up and saying that Cody Bellinger is going to be a Cub. Is that what the talk is on CHGO Cubs? Do you have you guys have an episode this Friday?
We've been talking about him I feel like forever, so we're manifesting as best as we can, Sean.
The issue is any team, I mean, the 2 teams in Chicago will want him, but what team's not going to want a former MVP?
Right.
You know, he plays great defense. So at the worst, you're getting a good defender, and maybe he runs into 19 home runs, which ain't bad. I mean, the White Sox would take it.
I think the Cubs would be a good spot for him in terms of reviving his offensive career because their new hitting coach came from the Dodgers. So maybe that has a play in there, but also it's not the worst idea in the world for the Cubs either because their top prospect's a center fielder, or he's going to be their center fielder probably in 2024. So, you give if you can get Bellinger, you give him a 1-year trial, see if he can revive his career, at least on the offensive end. And, if things go well, then, you got 2 guys. Plus, he can play a little first base. There's plenty of value there with that guy. So.
Right. I mean, he could probably even play right field too because he got Happen left. So yeah, I mean, maybe he gets a Noah Syndergaard type deal where he gets 1 year, $22 million from a team that just wants to give him a shot. But we'll see. That's gonna be an interesting one because I know if he becomes available, every White Sox fan will be hitting me on Twitter, being like, "Hey, the White Sox should sign Cody Bellinger." And be like, "Yeah, I know. I don't run the
all
team."
All the diehards in the Discord are gonna be in the White Sox and the Cubs one saying Bellinger. Every
Mailbag Monday. Cody Bellinger to the White Sox.
Cody Bellinger to the Cubs.
But that's not this show.
No.
We do bet college basketball. I had the over in Marshall and Miami yesterday. The over of 158.
Nice.
That one hit. That one got up to 165. Thank you to Marshall for scoring 90 points. But it's not even the college basketball show. I got $103 rolling with you. I got 10 picks for you this college football week. So $103. We got 10 picks for you, 3-2 this week after Maction. Hopefully going for another 60% win rate on 15 bets. We'll see how we do, Cody. Why don't you lead us off? Whether you want to take your first half of bets or your player props, why don't you jump in to some of these bets here?
All right. Well, it's weird because I'm really more interested in the night slate tomorrow, but I do have some picks for the day. Let's start with Duke plus 7.5. I've been riding Duke the last couple weeks. Remember 2 weeks ago, Sean, that they brutally murdered me with that, allowing Boston College to that backdoor cover?
Disgusting.
Yeah, well, they covered last week and the under hit. So they're back on my good side, and they're going up against Pittsburgh on the road, getting 7.5. as a dog, and they've been playing well. Pittsburgh, I mean, they're a good football team. I think this game will be close. You give me a touchdown, I like them. TCU
dead to me. Duke is dead to me. No way.
Okay. Well, TCU minus 2.5. This one might get you on there. All right. Just let me lay it out to you. All right. TCU on the road at Baylor, 2.5-point favorites on the road. All right. Coming off the big win against Texas in Austin. All right. So you look at it, you look at the spread and you're like, why is it only 2.5? I mean, this team is the number 4 team in the country. The only thing I can explain it to why it's at 2.5 is because the books they just keep guessing that this is the week that TCU is going to lose.
It's down to 2.
It's 2.5. You
can get 2 right now on DraftKings at minus 110.
So my advice on betting on this one, I'm taking TCU just because Baylor's coming off a really bad loss. I rode them last week and they're coming off a really bad loss. They're at home. I get it. Home dog. Everyone on this show knows how I love a good home dog. But TCU has been very profitable for me all year. And going into that Texas game, I thought there was going to be a lot of points. There was a lot of defense in that game. They slowed down Bijan Robinson. Quinn Ewers was awful. Like that, and that's a good offense for Texas. Like maybe this TCU defense has found something. I don't know. All I know is that this Baylor offense isn't nothing like Texas. So I feel like TCU is gonna I feel like this game will be close, but I'm gonna keep riding TCU until I lose because of them. So I'm taking them.
Baylor being at home, being a noted defensive team, at least last year, their defense has struggled a bit, but still they're mostly known for their defense, and being able to run the ball, I think just leads to people assuming an upset. If I had to pick a side here, it's easily TCU, especially now that it's down to minus 2. I'll easily take that. I'd probably even take TCU on the money line at minus 125. But I think that's the stupid better in me, Cody, is that it's just like, it sounds too easy. TCU money line, they're 8-0. Why wouldn't they win?
I think the books are I think they're waiting for TCU to finally lose. That's what they're doing. That's why I think that the spread is so low.
And I'd get it, if the Texas game was a little bit more out of control, but it was 3-0 at halftime, and then they won what? 7, or they won, I'm sorry, they won what? No, I can't do math. 14-7 in the second half. They easily won that one. So I mean, I think the play is probably just take TCU to win the second half, because I think they've won every second half. They're 9-0 in second halves. So take them on the money line and take them in the second half to win it, and you'll probably have a nice payday. Just because TCU's been so consistent. And this is a Baylor team that, yes, they're at home, but Kansas State just came into Baylor and Waco and won 31-3. So with Max Duggan, Quentin Johnson right on that precipice, I don't think they falter at Baylor. They might have faltered against a top team like Texas, like that, a team like that, but Baylor isn't going to do it this week.
Yeah, I just feel like TCU's just riding right now. They're sky high. Plus, every win matters for them the rest of the way if they're going to get into that college football playoff spot. I think they ranked them number 4 this week, so they sneak in right in. Speaking of the college football playoff, Georgia minus 22.5. It's now up to 23. So if you're into this, go get it now. I'd say I think it was in the teens at the beginning of the week. I wish I would have got it much earlier, but at Kentucky, they're on the road at Kentucky. Listen, Georgia's just there's Georgia is Georgia, and they're playing Kentucky, who scored 6 points against Tennessee. And we've talked about how bad Tennessee's defense is. You know what I mean? To me, this is just place the Georgia bet and don't even watch the game, because this game's going to suck. So that's my big, heavy favorite pick of the week. All right. And then Iowa money line at Minnesota. I will always bet against PJ Fleck, and Iowa's playing really well right now. I hate to say it. All the Iowa fans that are Cubs fans that follow me on Twitter love to let me know about the high point that Iowa is now in route to perhaps maybe winning the Big Ten West. And I think that they have a good chance. Because they're going into Minnesota, and they're just playing really well right now. They handled Wisconsin. Their defense is still their defense. I think their offense is playing well enough to just kind of, do enough. And it's not like this Minnesota offense is much to be afraid of. There's nothing about Minnesota that scares Iowa. I think Iowa goes into Minnesota and wins outright.
Yeah, I mean that Iowa one again. I think it's just like TCU. I'm not actually going to bet it, but I think it's stupid better in me not to bet it because again, it's a team that I think should win, and I think they should be favored, and you're getting plus money on them. So I'm with you. I don't see a reason why, even though Iowa's offense is so bad, they literally have the best defense in the country, and Minnesota is so one-sided. If they don't let Minnesota's running back get up to 134 and a half yards.
Guy.
Yeah, 134 and a half yards, like the prop says.
Yeah.
I think they'll win this one. So I'm with you on that Iowa one. The Georgia one, I hate betting anything that's more than 3 touchdowns. So I'm staying away from that one.
Yeah, it's my one heavy favorite of the week, and I've enjoyed fading Kentucky this year. So.
Hey, why not? Give me 2 more and then I'll take over.
Okay, let's go Western Kentucky plus 4.5. Another one that I wish I got earlier in the week. I believe it opened at like a touchdown at 7. They're at Auburn. Auburn is not good, and I know Western Kentucky. We both rode Western Kentucky last week strictly because of the helmet. I don't know if they're going to wear those helmets again this week, but either way, Western Kentucky's got has a really good offense, and Auburn. I haven't seen them score many points this year. And I know Western Kentucky's like they're not a Power 5 school, and that's why they're a dog here. But there's just nothing about Auburn that attracts me. I'm going to ride Western Kentucky again this week.
Well, and Auburn too. They're probably looking ahead to Alabama that's coming in next week.
Perhaps, yeah, with the Iron Bowl, yes. It's 2 more you said.
Yeah, give me OK State because I'll pick up on that one.
Okay, Oklahoma State plus 7. Rivalry game at Oklahoma. I just think these games are always close between these 2 schools. Plus, they're pretty. I think they're pretty evenly matched. You know what I mean? Like
this year, absolutely. All time, I've never seen this, and apparently this guy does this every single year. But there's this thing on Twitter, and it was hashtag Bedlam Facts. Did you see this?
No.
Okay. So this guy, who clearly is a Oklahoma fan, tweeted out some facts about this Bedlam series. All right. So Bedlam began in 1904, Cody. Oklahoma State didn't score until 1914.
Yikes.
70% of all points in the Bedlam series have been scored by Oklahoma. Michael Phelps has won more Olympic gold medals than Oklahoma State has won Bedlam games. Events at Boone Pickens Stadium since 2003. Bedlam victories, 2. Dedication ceremonies naming the stadium Boone Pickens Stadium, 2. So I'm with you that I understand why Oklahoma State's at plus 7, just because Oklahoma throughout the years has dominated this series. Mike Gundy, he hasn't even gotten to 4 Bedlam wins, and I mean that guy has been 40 for a long time now. I think he's probably in his 50s at this point. So I'm gonna go with OK State plus 100 because I think this is one of the last times that this series is going to be played. This is one of the only times that OK State kind of has a level team, and I do think Spencer Sanders plays in this game, and that's going to be a huge difference maker for OK State. And anything in the Big 12, if it's a touchdown spread, give me the team that's getting that cover there, or giving me that cushion there, because I just think that anything could happen in the Big 12. We've seen Oklahoma have awful games. I mean, they just played a horrible game in Morgantown and looked awful against West Virginia. Maybe it was a look ahead to OK State. I don't know. But they looked awful against Texas. It's not like they were up for that rivalry game. They got stomped 49-0. So
I had a lot of injuries in that game, but yeah.
True. But I mean, again, like Oklahoma didn't have any injuries last week, and they stunk against West Virginia.
There's just nothing about Oklahoma that makes me think, taking them as a touchdown favorite sounds like a good idea.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if this was less than a touchdown, I probably would just stay away or just take the over. But like you're giving me 7 points. Like I'll take the Cowboys. So
yeah, hook 'em, baby. No, wait, that's the wrong team. That's Joey's
bro.
team. So our guy Baloney Fonseca in the chat before we get into my picks, one of them being Oklahoma State plus 7. World Cup starts Sunday. Qatar, or is it Qatar?
Qatar,
it's like
Qatar.
Qatar.
I don't freaking know.
I think it's Qatar.
It's Qatar. It's Qatar.
But listen to it. Like it's not Qatar. It's like Qatar.
It's Qatar.
I promise. I've listened to the pronunciation like a couple times on Wikipedia. Versus Ecuador, both teams to score at plus 123. Top goal scorer, Vinicius Jr. at 40-1. So there's some World Cup stuff for you. I got one, Cody. That guy Ronaldo, not a fan of him. All right,
No?
pompous. Okay. Talking to Piers Morgan, also pompous. I'm out on it. All right. Ghana isn't that good. Portugal isn't that good. I'm taking South Korea to make it to the quarterfinals at plus 9-1. Let's go, South Korea. I don't know anything about soccer, but that's just
I'm gonna text my soccer guy.
That's a hate bet.
I've mentioned my soccer guy on this podcast. I'll be texting him, and I'm gonna ride with him no matter what.
Come on, ride with me. Ride with me.
I mean,
what's wrong with you? I'm your guy.
I can ride with South Korea, I guess. I mean,
let's go. Come on, it's South Korea.
I have
baby.
another guy.
What else are you doing?
He does say he likes that bologna, Bologna, whatever.
My guy,
he likes South Korea. There you go.
Let's go. I saw some stat too, and I think like in the 2000s they have like a 70% win percentage. In 2020 to present in 28 games played, they're 19-4-5. So they have a 67% win percentage. So this is the highest, and it's a small sample here, but South Korea is rolling. I love South Korea. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I've been a lifelong fan of South Korea my entire life, Sean.
Steven, you got any World Cup thoughts?
No.
Thank you, Steven, for chiming in. All right, let's go to my college football picks. Again, we got Oklahoma State plus 7. We're going to go to UMass plus 33.5 minus 105. Why, Cody?
I have no idea why you put this in here, Sean.
Because Texas A&M hasn't scored 34 points all season. I understand UMass is bad. I understand UMass hasn't really found its footing as a D1 program in about the 11 years it's been around. But Texas A&M's offense is non-existent. Even if they score a season high of 34, all UMass needs to do is get a safety to cover. So I'm going to get that 33.5 point cushion and just hope the Minutemen could last, 60, and that way would be
instead
able to
of just 1 minute.
Right.
You're hoping they last 60 minutes.
It'd be nice. Hey, there's 56 men on a football team. We just need 4 more.
I guess I like the idea behind it, but I saw that in the Slack channel. I was like, what is Sean like? That's pure degen right there.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Jimbo has guys getting, and it's Musa Muhammad's kid of all things. I mean, he's got Musa Muhammad's kid not playing because he's wearing sleeves. The culture's bad. These kids, a lot of them were big NIL purchases with all their Shell Corporation money down in Texas. So I just think that these kids won't want to play. And the idea of, Texas A&M losing to UMass is ridiculous. So ridiculous to DraftKings Sportsbook. They didn't even put a money line on it. But, I'll at least take UMass to cover 33.5. All right, let's go back to the picks here. We got Washington minus 18.5 in the first half at minus 105, and Ohio State minus 14.5 in the first half, minus 115. Shout out to Tom Fornelli of the Cover 3 podcast. I do think that this is good. A good thought process, a good edge. This is going to be next week's going to be rivalry week for a lot of these programs. Ohio State's looking forward to the Michigan game. Washington is looking forward to Washington State. So they don't have these huge incentives to be playing hard in the second half, but they do have an incentive to win. You can't, stumble here. So I think Washington gets out to a big lead against Colorado, at least by 3 touchdowns. So give me 18.5 points. And Ohio State going up against Maryland. We saw Penn State win 30-0 last week. I took that under 57.5, and that easily cashed. So I'll take Ohio State minus 14.5. I easily see them trying to light up this Maryland defense that is pretty porous, and Maryland really can't stop elite defensive lines, and Ohio State has an elite defensive line. So I'll go with those 2 first half plays. And again, if you want to enjoy what we're doing, if you want to be betting on college sports, teenagers shooting hoops, as Cody says, or teenagers throwing the pigskin around, you got to check out DraftKings Sportsbook. They are the official sportsbook of the NFL, and you can make any $5 NFL bet any $5 NFL moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. In addition to the usual bets like spreads, totals, and money lines, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. We got a real close call last night. Christian Watson scored a touchdown. Derrick Henry went over 80 yards, but that under did not cash. My stepped up same game parlay was so close to turning $10 into $100. But hey, DraftKings had a promotion where you got a free stepped up same game parlay bet, and now I'm turning those $10 into a big money line sprinkle that I'll show you a little bit later on. But it's a fun app that you can make things even sweeter when you win, but it makes watching the game that much more intense and that much more exciting. And you can throw down on stepped up same game parlays once per game day all season long. You get one on Thursday Night Football, you get one for the Sunday slate of games, and you get one for Monday Night Football as well. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code CHGO to get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Just place a $5 bet on any football game only at DraftKings Sportsbook using code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And again, hey, do this now and maybe just bet on the Bears to win against Atlanta, because they will on Sunday. And then that way you get $200 in free bets to bet during Thanksgiving. You got an annoying little cousin. Oh, hey, I'm going to bet on the Lions Giants. Or is it Lions Giants or Cowboys Giants?
Giants.
Cowboys Giants would make a lot more sense. But hey, I could go bet, $200 on the Cowboys Giants game during Thanksgiving. It's a great way to, really connect with your family and avoid them this holiday. So let's go back to
my stepped up same game parlay also missed by one leg because Derrick Henry didn't even sniff 100 yards rushing.
What was the other two that you had?
I had Aaron Rodgers under 249.5 yards passing, and I had Derrick Henry touchdown.
Well, that was an easy cash right there. He threw one too.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, it was a struggle for him to even throw the ball. And Derrick Henry, he threw a touchdown. He was,
better passing day than Aaron Rodgers.
I think he had three passes, and one of them was a touchdown. So shout out Derrick Henry. But I told you about my free bet that Cody lost on his stepped up same game parlay. I lost on my stepped up same game parlay, but I got those $10.
What are we using our $10 stepped up same game parlay free bet with?
I got those $10 back, and we are putting it on UConn money line plus 310. We are also putting down $10 on UConn plus 10.5 versus Army. And here's why. The numbers say the spread should be 4. Army's 3-6. UConn just became bowl eligible and are 6-5. And this is what Jim Mora, not Jim Mora Jr., said about his football program on Jim Rome this week. If we win this game, our bowl prospects drastically increase. With 7 wins, somebody's going to want us. It's a good story, and we'll travel well with our fans, and we'll bring a lot of energy. There won't be one single player or staff member who says, oh, man, we got to go get that town or that bowl. Everybody will be fired up. It doesn't matter what bowl it is. Bringing that energy will be attractive to people. If we win, I think we'd be in pretty good shape. This is an important game. What are these kids at Army playing for? Is Army going bowling?
America. No. That's what they're playing for.
Yeah, UConn's playing for the Popeyes Bowl in Bahamas. All right. Let's go 7-5
the
UConn.
Duke's Mayo Bowl, man.
Right. Let's go. And that's a fun one. I keep trying
your screen a little.
I know. I'm trying to make it better, and it's making it worse. I'll turn this off after we go. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that.
Little cover there for you.
But UConn's getting 10.5. Come on. Let's go UConn over Army. Army isn't going to be able to throw the ball. They're a very traditional triple option team trying to run the ball. UConn has a very good defense, and Jim Mora does a very good job of focusing in on what those teams do. So I just think Army's going to be too one-dimensional. I think UConn's going to be fired up. Give me the 10.5 point cushion, but also I think the Huskies win this one.
All right, I'm in. I'll do it.
Yes. Let's go.
Let's ride. With
your free bet?
Sure.
Yeah.
How the fallen have risen, because last year I purposely bet against UConn every single game, and now they're bowl eligible and kind of good. So
sorry, I'm trying to find a cloth to wipe this screen with, and it's just it's a nightmare. Oh, there we go.
There you go. Hey. There he is. Everyone can see Sean.
Oh, wonderful. All right.
I like your thinking on it though. 10.5 does sound a little too much. Like what?
Right?
Like I understand they're on the road, right? They're at Army, but Army's not very good this year. I don't get it. I don't see it. So
the last big wins for UConn have been at home, but it's not like Army really hasn't been defending home turf. Their last game, I think, was against Air Force, and it was 13-7. So, I mean, that was a close game. It's only 6 points right there. So I don't think Army's going to be shellacking teams. So I really don't think 10.5 points is going to be something that they're able to cover there. So why don't you take me through your final picks? I'll wrap up my final picks.
And then the good ones. All right. So
we'll go to your player props.
Tennessee and South Carolina over 66. Tennessee just put up 66 points alone against Missouri last week. South Carolina is I feel like South Carolina and Missouri are basically the same school. Like there's not much like difference. I think that Tennessee is just going to keep doing what they're doing because they're not in the college football playoff right now. They're trying to impress the committee. They're trying to get in. I think they're going to continue to just keep scoring and scoring some more against South Carolina. And South Carolina will probably score some points too because Tennessee's defense is very sus. So I like the over there as a nice little afternoon delight. You know what I mean? Just place the over, watch some teenagers sling it around, score some points. You can also do that in the evening because I like USC and UCLA. This is going to be the best game of Saturday. I don't say that about Pac-12 very often, but we got USC and UCLA at the Rose Bowl. The total is 76, and the spread is 2 points. USC as a favorite. I'm taking the under because last week I took the over on every single one of those 70-point totals, and they all went under. And I just think it's just too many points. And also USC's defense it's definitely better. That's why they are probably the favorites. I would not be surprised though if it did go over, considering there was 60 points scored by one team last year. But again, I think USC is a better team this time around. So I'm gonna take USC. I'm gonna trust Caleb Williams, but I think it's gonna be a good one no matter what. I got some props on this game. We'll get to those later, but I like Caleb Williams. I'm going to take him against DTR on the road, if you want to call it that, at UCLA. And then Oregon -2, Oregon and Utah over 61.5. Both teams high-power offenses, just like USC and UCLA, but 61.5 is significantly less than 76, so I'm going to take the over with that. And Oregon, they should have beat Washington. Their coaching at the very end of that game against Washington was absolutely awful with how they did not get Bo Nix back in there when they should have. So they're coming. They need to win today, or tomorrow, whatever you want to call it. Plus they're in Eugene, so they're on their home field. I'll take a -2 at home, and the over. So yeah. Any thoughts, Sean?
Well, my one worry would be with Oregon. Dan Lanning was asked about Bo Nix and his injury, and Dan Lanning, the coach of the Oregon Ducks, said, "I don't want to be specific to that. I don't think it creates I think it creates a competitive advantage to the opponent. We'll just say it wasn't his pinky finger. That's not what it was." So kind of has an unknown injury here. I'm just not sure what Bo Nix will give them in the backup.
Right. This is all
backup ain't that good.
If Bo Nix plays, this is the play. If he doesn't play, probably just avoid it.
Yeah.
I would take the over still because a little Pac-12 after dark. Both, I still think like they still have a really good offense, whether he's out there or not. But like as far as Oregon winning, I don't know.
I would say take Utah +2 right now, just because if Nix doesn't play, I would love to have that. If Nix does play, I do like that side. And with the USC UCLA game, my biggest worry is, I mean, that game opened at 82 and was bet down to 76. So that's my worry there, is that it's come down so much. So were the opening numbers right? And this is going to jump to at least like a 43-41 game, like we saw USC and Utah play. So I just don't know if either of these teams are going to be able to stop one another enough. I'm guessing you're probably having either some Caleb Williams props or Zach Charbonnet props, because I don't think either of these defenses are going to be able to stop either of their stars. So I did see Zach Charbonnet.
So many points. Like, I don't think it matters, like, whether the defenses are good or not. It's just like all it takes is for one quarter there to be, a couple long possessions. It could lead to points, but if they're long possessions, though, like, I get it. Like, yeah, this absolutely could be a 40-40 something game. Absolutely could be. But I got beat so much by it last week.
I don't blame you. Hey, we
do it, man. I can't do it this week.
We bet on Wake Forest UNC to go over 76.5, and it didn't get there. So I don't blame you on that one. And let's go to my final picks, and we'll get in some more player props here, and then we'll wrap up the show. Final ones I got for you: Michigan State -10 at -1. Michigan State -10 at -110. They're going up against Indiana. Michigan State needs this one. Indiana will probably get Tom Allen fired. I do think that Michigan State is the better team. We saw them do very well against a talented Illinois team, and I think that they will be easily able to handle Indiana before. I think this is also senior day too, so before all their seniors depart East Lansing for the final time. Then we're going to go to Vanderbilt moneyline at +440. This one's going to be in Nashville. They're coming off a huge win against Kentucky, and Florida comes to town. Vanderbilt does not want to stop building on this positive momentum. Florida is not going to be ready to play in 30-degree weather, and I do think that Vanderbilt will be able to do a good enough job to run the ball and be at least balanced on offense, but I think they'll be able to force Florida to be one-dimensional, and Anthony Richardson would really need to prove how good of a quarterback prospect he is. Very talented runner, very talented athlete, but I think Vanderbilt would be like, all right, let's have your arm beat us, and I do think that will be a winning recipe for Vanderbilt. We kind of saw it happen with Will Levis last week as well, and they got the W, so I will take Vanderbilt money line. Akron Buffalo under 42.5 at +130. This game is trying to be moved to Sunday, but right now it's been postponed. There's supposed to be 6 feet of snow in Buffalo, and they got it. So this one could be postponed. I am looking to cash this one out because if they play it on Sunday, I don't know if that 42.5 will hit, but if they play it on Saturday, I do like it. But again, it's postponed, so I don't think that one's going to happen. And then the final one, Ole Miss, Arkansas, under 64.5 at -105. Both of these teams run the ball a ton. Yeah. Ole Miss is top 10. They're 7th in the nation at run play percent. Arkansas 11th in the nation. So the clock will be running. The clock will be moving. It will be another cold game in Arkansas, and we saw that happen with LSU in Arkansas, and that was a 13-10 game. So I think we're probably going to see about the same here.
And I maybe KJ Jefferson will be back this week. He didn't play last week. But Arkansas was still good enough to hang around with LSU. I actually cashed out my Arkansas +3.5, and then it ended up hitting, and I was mad at myself. That's why I stopped cashing things out, Sean, because every time I cash things out, it doesn't work out for me.
I tried. I learned that lesson in that Virginia Tech Georgia Tech game. I had 2 different bets. One was a $10 bet, and one was a $7.87 bet. Thankfully, I cashed out the $7.87 one. But if I let that ride, I would never had a redeposit. I would be still living off that Georgia Tech money.
Right. So, but I do like that. I do like that under on there because, they're going to be whether KJ Jefferson plays or not, they're going to be running the ball a lot. He's more of a running quarterback than he is a thrower, in my opinion. But Ole Miss did put up some points against Alabama last week, so that does kind of scare me. But it's not.
But 30-24, I mean, that still keeps me under.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it would just depend on how good Arkansas's defense could be. I mean, Ole Miss that was honestly a game that Ole Miss should have won, and they just did not they make the right plays at the end. Yeah. So, but I do like it, especially at 64.5. So, I don't mind that one. If Vanderbilt. I rode with you 2 weeks ago on Vanderbilt money line, and then they lost, and then they finally win last week. I'm staying away. Can't do it again.
Come on.
No.
I'm riding UConn with you. I'm riding UConn, okay?
And when both of them hits, you'll feel stupid.
All right.
We'll do
if UConn loses, if UConn loses and Vanderbilt wins, then I'm done.
That's fine. I'll be fine because I hit both of them because I'm smart.
Oh, okay. Fine.
It's that Iowa one. It's that Iowa one that I got to watch out for.
Okay.
You got some player props.
Oh, yeah, player props. They're from mostly tomorrow night, all right? So, Hendon Hooker, over 2.5 passing touchdowns. He's gone over that in basically every game except for the game against Georgia. And again, going up against South Carolina, I think it's at like -115. I think that's what it was at on DraftKings. I think that's a lock. Again, Tennessee has to put up points. They have to continue to try and impress the folks that are going to decide if they're going to be in the college football playoff or not. Caleb Williams over 2.5 touchdowns. Hell, you might as well do that with DTR too if you want to. But I just think Caleb Williams is more likely to throw the ball more than DTR. DTR is dual threat. Caleb Williams he can move around too, but DTR is definitely more of a runner than a passer in my opinion. But that's why I have over 47.5 rushing for him. Again, we talked about it earlier. There's going to be points in this, and being able to say that there's going to be points and still take the under is wild to me. But Caleb Williams also he's thrown 3 touchdowns or more in almost every game of recency. And there's going to be a ton of points in this game. So, I think that's a very solid. I think Caleb Williams over 2.5 touchdowns was at like -150. So maybe if you want to get better odds, maybe parlay it with Hendon Hooker and his 2.5 touchdowns. I'd say you could do it as a same game parlay on DraftKings, but you actually can't. They don't have DTR's rushing prop for same game parlays. Unfortunately, maybe that'll change tomorrow, but right now they currently don't. Zach Charbonnet, his rushing prop is also very intriguing. It's a over under 122.5 rushing. He literally had like 180 this past week, and he had 190 the week before. Mm-hmm. He definitely could go off. And then he's had
100, I think, in the last 6 games. So I mean, him just hitting a century mark has been, a day's work for him.
Right. And then for everyone who watches this show every week, you know that I'm riding Bijan Robinson on his rushing prop against Kansas. It's just not available on DraftKings yet, but it'll be up there before the game tomorrow. And you bet your ass I will be slamming the over because he's due for a bounce back game. The fact that he did nothing against TCU was just mind blowing to me. I was like, this isn't right. So bounce back game for Bijan Robinson tomorrow in Lawrence, Kansas. Whatever the over under is, slam the over. He's gonna have a game tomorrow against Kansas. I feel it.
Yeah, Baylor ran all over Kansas not too long ago, and I just have a feeling that with that running back, they're going to have a field day running all over Kansas. So I'm not going to take Texas -9, but
you want something to bet on that game. I feel like that's a solid bet.
Absolutely. And hey, even if you don't like DTR rushing props, I like Caleb Williams over 30.5. He's hit that a couple times this year. And Arizona's kid, I can't even think of his name right now at this point. Just was running all over UCLA's defense, just running in, out, around.
I was looking at
playing hero ball. It was ridiculous.
I was looking at that Arizona-Washington State game, and it was one of those, like, Arizona's a 3.5 point underdog at home against Washington State, coming off the big win over UCLA last week. I'm tempted to want to take Arizona just because, but like,
if it was juicier, I would. If it was like +3 or +4, I would.
Yeah, I think it was at 3.5 or 4.5. Something I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's an interesting one. It's a 1:00 game tomorrow. Arizona's football program is not good, but like, they just beat at UCLA. They got some momentum coming back home again. They went into the road into UCLA and won outright last week. Now they go home to play a Washington State team. Maybe they got something going on there. I don't know. I don't know enough about their program, but I do find it interesting that they're a 3 or 4 point underdog at home against a Washington State team. So
they got Jed Fish leading the program. He's a former NFL guy, and
I forgot to mention. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're good.
The quarterback for Arizona is a transfer from Washington State, so it's a revenge game. So
yeah, what's this kid's name? Because he was running around left and right. It was ridiculous.
Delora or something.
Yeah,
like
Jaden Delora.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
What? Like, just it was like creative player NCAA football, like 2013, just like running left, and every time like throw on the run 99%. On the player stat. Like, just throwing dots. It was ridiculous. Anyways, we do want to, again, just let you know about our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. If you are going to be betting on any of the games that we told you this week, whether it be the player props, whether it be the lines, whether it be the spreads, whether it be the money lines, make sure you're using the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And they have some promos for college football. You can opt in and get a 33% same game parlay profit boost for the TCU-Baylor game. And you can also boost a stepped up parlay as well for college football this week. So make sure you're opting into all the promos DraftKings Sportsbook has and use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. That's Cody Delmendo. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. You like the Illini to cover this week or no?
Against Michigan, no, it's 17.5.
I do like Illinois tonight against UCLA if we're talking basketball. It's gonna be a big test. I'm not gonna text our good friend Greg Braggs and have him place the bet for me. But I do think that they can hang around with them and perhaps win outright. They have a lot of questions, but I think it'll be close. But as far as Illinois and Michigan, the only thing okay. Here's why you should bet Illinois tomorrow if you wanted to. If you want me to talk you into it, football, yes. Brett Bielema or Bielema. I don't know. Everyone says his name different. Brett Bielema, the head coach of Illinois. Bielema. Thank you.
Yes. Is Bielema?
Bielema.
Thank you.
Brett Bielema. His mom just passed. So,
oh no, Cody.
This is a big for the program. This is a big win for him, win for him type thing, okay? That's all I'm saying. It literally happened yesterday. I can't believe he's actually going to go and actually coach the game, all right? This is big that's all I'm saying. Maybe they could cover because the kids are going to come out and play super hard for him, man, and they're due because they played so bad against Purdue, right? I'm just saying.
That's a lot of pressure.
I'm not touching it. I think everyone should slam Michigan, but you know how college football works. It's kind of like I would have taken Virginia if they would have played last week for obvious reasons.
This week, that just happened.
What? Okay, this week then, whatever. But they canceled the game. I would have totally taken Virginia for that reason alone, because those guys would have came out, played their hearts out, all that kind of stuff. But they didn't play the game. This is for coach. To cover 17.5 and perhaps win in the big house,
Sky Point Mama Bielema.
Yes.
My Lord, Cody. I did not think you were taking it that way. All right. Well, make sure you follow Cody.
I didn't think it was that bad. Did it sound that bad?
No, but I just meant when I asked you about the Illini game, I wasn't expecting an obituary. It's Cody Delmendo. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We appreciate Stephen Nicholas for producing the show. 45 minutes of college football bets. I gave you 10. I think Cody gave you 100. And hopefully you can make $1 million. And we will talk to you when you become a millionaire, because we'll be millionaires next week when we talk to you next on CHGO Bets Daily.